Yo guys, check out this new secondary weapon in Warframe.
Gonna get sticky.
Anyone else hear that? So this is the SCYOTID. This is the new secondary weapon that came with the isleweaver update. These are Araxia's signature throwing knives, technically. What you just seen was the alt fire of the SCYOTID. I'll go ahead and show you guys the base fire now, just versus these enemies. Now, this is using the primer build, so it's not going to deal a lot of damage, but even still, it did deal a lot of damage. But the alt fire is the time to get sticky, or it's going to get sticky. You know, it grips them all in, which is actually pretty cool because it allows you to do something like this. Look at their armor. Why is the armor going down? And suddenly they've got no armor. But if we were to keep on meleeing, wow, they all die. So the SCYOTID is going to double up as a primer and a gripper secondary weapon, basically making it like a utility secondary weapon, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it allows for some unique setups. So the setup that we're running right now on the SCYOTID, it looks a little bit like this. We can go ahead and read the unique trait here. So it says alt fire lobs web snare that damages, paralyzes, and grips up to 8 enemies within 10 meters. The number of enemies afflicted is multiplied with multi-shot. So the more multi-shot you have on, the more enemies you can grip with the alt fire. So we are running lethal torrent and also borrow the fusion on here for some multi-shot. Then the rest is basically just mods for priming, right? So we've got more status chance on stunning speed, frostbite for some status chance and cold, magnetic might for some magnetic damage, accelerated isotope for the radiation and fire rate, auger seeker for some status duration, so on and so forth. Then we're running the inotum specifically because it is a dagger. It's also an incarnate dagger, so that makes it have a lot of other cool benefits too. This is the build that we're rocking on it. It is a gas and electric build, so it is melee influence plus gas. You can go ahead and copy the build that I've got equipped here. There's no attack speed on this build. You want to go ahead and replace a mod like, let's say, for example, Prime Reach if you don't want that, or the likes of Prime Fury or Quickening if you're not playing Volt. But because I am using Volt in this demonstration, well, you know, we're going to stick with it. This is the Volt build that I'm using. I'm making sure to use Roar on here because I'm not using a Smite mod on the inotum. And then the other important thing is actually our primary weapon, simply because the Argonac has a amalgam mod which reads +3 punch through, damage from daggers reduces armor by 6. So we're leaving behind that gas cloud, and that gas cloud is then stripping away the enemy's armor as it keeps on ticking. So your entire setup would look a little bit like this. You roar, you speed, and then maybe you do your buff, and then you go ahead, use your alt fire, then you melee, and they die in literal seconds, man. So that is one application of the SCYOTID. Now, what I want you guys to think about is like literally any build where you've got a gripping ability subsumed on. So for some reason, I have Ensnare subsumed onto my Saren here. I think I was testing something very specific out. But just go ahead and take a look at what Ensnare does, right? It just grips the enemies up, but it grips them up kind of poorly, kind of slowly, compared to our SCYOTID here. It just yanks them in, man. For some reason, those guys separated, but I think that's because we're using Ensnare, but you know what I'm saying? It's just straight up an upgrade. You may remember that we used to build Protea like this. We'd have Nidus's larva ability subsumed over her 4, and that would look like this. So we'd go ahead, we'd cast larva in the middle of all the enemies, and it would grip them in like so, and then we'd go ahead and cast R2, and it would go bam, 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 like that, and all the bad guys would die. But now, the fun thing about the SCYOTID is we literally don't have to do that anymore. We don't need larva over the 4. We can just go ahead and put roar on, so then our 2 scales even better. The difference between this roar build and the larva build is the amount of ability range that we've got equipped, right? So because we're dropping all of that range, we can invest more into ability duration and ability strength. So then our roar lasts long, and it also gives us more of a bonus. And because it's in the 4th slot, we can use precision intensify, so it's getting a bonus 90% ability strength. And also, your blaze artillery lasts longer as well, so you can be even lazier while playing Protea. And that's not even mentioning the fact that she's probably one of the best shield gating Warframes in the game, because you can just drop your balls on the floor and then pick up one of the balls, and then you have all of that overshield. So if you want a shield gate, you just pick up a ball and you're good to go. All right, we're gonna test this out just for science, So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cast dispensary. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cast roar. I'm gonna cast dispensary, and then you know, I've got more ability strength again because of Protea's cool passive. I'm gonna group them with the gonna get sticky. So here we go.
Gonna get sticky.
And now we use bam, 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 bam. Wow. Bam, 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 bam goes hard. Now, if I was actually in the center of all those enemies, they probably would have gripped up a little bit better, but here we go. Gonna build up my passive again. It's in the bottom right-hand corner, the more ability strength. So let's jump above. We put the...
Gonna get sticky.
In the middle. Still didn't grip them all. Unlucky. Bam, 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 bam goes crazy. But the thing is, we could just grip them again, right? So we spawn them, build passive. Okay, all done. So we grip.
Gonna get sticky.
Oh, it did it in one that time. Oh no, but I'm too far away. There we go. Bam, 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 bam goes crazy. Good job, bam, bam. That's what I call this little turret. Got a little bit interested and threw together a little build that looks like this. I'm running pistol elementalist here just because I thought the reload speed felt nice. Of course, this isn't a finalized build. It's just something that I'm messing around with just for the sake of this video, just to try out. So I'm going to spawn in those heavy gunners again. And let's go ahead and take a little shot at their heads. So we got the corrosive procs, we got the heat procs, and they die quite quick. So let's go ahead, grip them. That's nice, man. That's a damage dealer. Very impactful, if I say so myself. Now let's go ahead and try it with some buffs active. So roar, my shock buff, my shields. Damn, bro. We kill him, we grip.
Sticky.
Holy. Everything's just dead. We can spawn him in again. Why not?
Gonna get sticky.
Boom. Toxin procs too sometimes. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Toxin procs.
Gonna get
They're not
sticky.
doing much, but they do exist. They all dead. They all die. I would not be disappointed if I got this weapon in my EDA or ETA loadout. Like, it feels so nice. It's got me thinking as well, like, what if I used Sarin? Because for some reason, this weapon would feel like it suits Sarin. So this is the build that I'm rocking. I could use like pistol fire rate arcane. That's arcane velocity. We go ahead and we throw that on. So that's on critical hit. So anytime we score a crit, I'm going to get extra fire rate on it. And with the Sarin build, I'm getting my roar damage buff. I'm getting a toxin damage buff from Toxic Lash. And then also a corrosive damage buff from the one as well. Plus, I have these shards on here, so I'm able to full strip with the shards and more toxin damage from the toxin status effects too. So just for sake of testing, let's go ahead and get everything active. Hold down the one. Grip time.
Gonna get sticky.
Yeah, like, that's lit. Just, like, let's run it back. Let's try it again.
Gonna get sticky.
These things are nuts. So the other cool thing to try would just be using them on Araxia herself. So I basically have the exact same shards on Araxia as I do on Sarin. But the cool thing with Araxia is her fourth ability gives you bonus toxin damage, right? So it's just bonus toxin while you're in the 4. We can basically mark all the enemies to spawn in a scuttler on death. So the cool thing with the secondary weapon that we're testing is that it makes it easier to land this third ability here. And then viral added to the weapon because of Nourish, then her one is just an execute, right? So my idea is simply this: spawn in the enemies, cast my Nourish, grip the enemies like so.
Gonna get sticky.
Then hit the 3, hit the 4, cling to a wall, start killing. You see all the scuttlers. You can execute an enemy if you want to. And that's basically the gameplay loop. With these knives, throwing knives, Araxia's throwing knives, whatever you want to call them. With Araxia herself. But yeah, guys, that was it. Just wanted to do a short little demo video of the SCYOTID weapons because they're pretty cool. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more Warframe content. Click the video that's on screen now to watch something else. And I'll see you guys in the next one.